Okay, hello guys, welcome to our Impact Lab presentation. And we have the topic environment and climate. And while we were researching, we came upon the questions, how can individuals in Tokyo reduce their plastic waste? But before we start, I'm just gonna introduce our team a little bit. So yeah, we're the environment and climate team. I'm Magaline, I'm from Germany.
This is Moses, and I'm from Hong Kong.
I'm Julia and I'm from Germany.
I'm Raisa, I'm from Indonesia. Mika and I'm from Japan.
I'm V from Japan. I'm V from Malaysia.
Okay, thank you guys for listening to our presentation. Okay, so I'm gonna start about this thing we realized. So Japan recycles a lot of their plastic that they use, but they produce so much, it's not really a recycling problem anymore, it's a volume problem. So for example, Japan, the average person produces 129 kilograms of plastic waste, just every year. And that's twice as much as the EU average. Also, it's the second place in producing plastic worldwide. So the only place in the world that produces more plastic than Japan is basically the US. And also, 77% of that plastic is just packaging. So they're not using it, they're just throwing it away. And also at that rate, there's only one landfill left in Tokyo that can be used for putting plastic there. And if it goes on the way it does, there will be no space left in 50 years. So there's something we have to do about it. Also, we noticed some things in Tokyo that keep the volume of those plastic waste high. So for example, their long commutes to work, they push people into the convenience store, even though they might not want to. They need some food, they need some quick thing before they go into work. So it pushes them into the convenience store, and everything in the convenience store is packaged and it takes a lot of plastic. Also, a lot of people in Tokyo live alone, which reduces bulking, bulk buying, and also makes everyone produce their own trash and not just as a household in general. It's not multiple people. Also, there's roughly 1 kilogram of plastic produced, plastic waste produced per day by one resident, and that's a really large amount.
Okay, so we hypothesized that it's not about the people's awareness about the plastic, but more because of the mandatory fee that the Japanese government placed on convenience store to charge plastic in 2020. So we asked why, not just we asked why their daily lives instead of whether they care about the environment, because obviously they would be like, yeah, I do care, and yeah.
So in our interview, we did it in bilingual. So some people asked in Japanese and also in English. And we did an online survey and mostly of Tokyo residents. But we also asked some tourists. And the people that I interviewed mostly were German, actually. So I could speak also my native language. We had 8 questions with 3 multiple choice behaviors, and we ranked them from 1 to 5. In total, we got 33 responses on our 8 questions. And the age of the people that responded were mostly between 31 to 40, and the lowest category was from 41 to 50. So we tried to represent every age group. So our first finding was that most people actually already bring their own bags. So we asked them, when you're going into the convenience store, do you get a bag there or do you bring your own? And we realized most of people already brought their own bags, and only 6% never brought their own bag. So in total, 55% bring their own bag to the convenience store. And on the surface, this looks like a success. But in 2022, there was the bag charge. So before, the bags that you could get in the convenience stores were basically free, but now they are 3 yen.
So, an additional note that all like bringing your own shopping bag does not necessarily mean that you don't use a plastic bag. And we've done a lot of interviews, and most respondents also said that after a conversation, they also expressed that they would bring their own bag, but still get plastic bags just for the convenience purposes. It's
They are not doing it for the planet, they are doing it for the 3M. So in our survey, as we asked more and more why people were using the plastic bags, most of them were like, I don't want to purchase the bag. And it's not because they want to help the environment or they were even aware of the environment or like how plastic is affecting the environment. They just do not want to pay for it. So that's the biggest thing that we want to fix. That's the biggest problem we want to fix in this presentation. And they don't think plastic bags matter much anyways. So as our survey went on, we asked the important question, which is how important do you think plastic bags are? And a lot of people answered slightly. And a lot of people said not important. And you can see people who answered very important and important are like 30%, which is very bad actually, because plastic bags should not be a vital part of the consumerism lifestyle. It should always be not important, but which is, as you can see, which is the last response we got. So we want to reduce the dependency on plastic bags.
So from our interview results, you can see that most 69% of people say they go to the convenience store often or very often, which is good because we hope that we can share our ideas with many people and affect like a wide range of people. And only one person, which we interviewed, said they never go to convenience stores. But as an alternative, they could go to like supermarkets, which still produce plastic bags. Yeah.
okay. Let me ask a question. How many plastic bags do you use? Or how about a more precise question? What's the kilograms of the amount of like plastic bags you use? Nobody knows it. Everyone just thinks, oh, I use a lot. I don't know. Or a lot of people just think, oh, I probably use little amounts of plastic bags and I probably don't use a lot. But this is like not the case from the data. So when we look at the questionnaires and the actual data, we can see that like they actually don't know how much of the waste they create. So, and the gap this project like plans to like close is that the information gap that, oh, what Japanese thinks, oh, I'm really environmental friendly, but the actual reality is that they use a lot of plastic bags. So let me hand it to Razia for
So we asked people, if we did change conventional plastic, what would they expect? And a lot of them never really thought about it. And some just said, oh, I just wanted to be like eco-friendly. And 2 out of 26 people that we interviewed asked for anything resembling a biodegradable material, and profit demand is close to 0. Only a few people actually said like, oh yeah, I want it to be sturdy, I want it to be waterproof and stuff like that. So leading with biodegradable bags would be solving a problem nobody asked us to solve. And paper fails on exactly the 2 things respondents named, like carrying wet food and heavy loads.
Okay, so we conducted our research, but there were limitations to that research as well. So right now we only have like 33 responses, and it's like, it doesn't represent all of Tokyo, right? And also like the age range was between 18 and 40 basically. So like the age group above that wasn't really represented in the survey. Also, it's just estimated, like their responses weren't accurate, so they basically just guessed about themselves. And like 13 people also skipped like questions that like ask them how much effort they put into like their plastic waste. So basically what we do next in our next steps, we'd try to target a larger sample, and we'd also try to like widen the age range so that it's basically a little more balanced. We'd also try to gather data from like the store side. So basically ask the convenience store, like how many bags do you sell every week? How much like plastic waste do the stores produce? Not just the people in general. Also, there's this thing, like people don't always plan to go to the convenience store. So if they plan to go, they will probably bring their own bag. But if they go spontaneously or haven't planned to go to the convenience store, the chances are pretty high that they don't have a bag with them and will try to buy one. Also, we would ask like questions if the store bags would decline, like if they would like if the increase of plastic bags used at home would like increase.
Before I talk about our solution, one thing that I want to bring awareness is that in research that we've conducted, we've asked like cinema, merchandise store cashiers, and they said that in something that you don't have to use, like plastic bags, there's still 900 plastic bags used only in one cashier table per week, which is like an incredible amount of number. So that this sparked us to think of a solution to incentivize people to stop use plastics. So the first point I'm going to share is like we thought of a point of sale verification. So where in every receipt you to get, we will print a QR and numeric code directly on the receipt when there's no plastic bags requested, which you can like enter into the app, which would soon like record your plastic usage. And okay, you'd be like, what's the use of that? Oh, I know I used how much plastic bags. Okay, what's the reward? So we have like a gamified rewards mechanism since we've known that like gacha is a really famous mechanic in that originated from Japan. So we implement a gacha system so that every time you not use a plastic bag, you have a low chance to get something really good or like a really high chance to get something bad. But this reward system keeps people engaged, and these rewards you've obtained could be like used to like redeem family vouchers or such like gambling rewards that that people would like. Let me pass it to Umika to showcase our art.
So this is an example of what theoretically the receipt would look like. And you might wonder why use a QR code over a barcode, which would most likely take less space and generate less waste. And that's because for a barcode, you need to have a laser scanner. And for a QR code, you can scan it from various different angles and it will still work. It also has a 30% recovery rate. So even if it can be up to 30% damaged and still be read incredibly accurately. We also added a code just in case people have broken cameras or for some reason don't want to use their cameras.
So okay, let's like take it out of the paper and let's like actually try to use it. Okay, you know the let's set it out. We can't set. Well, okay, so
I actually can't see my laptop there, so bear with me. So this is our man idea, where it came from a really like inspiring entrepreneur's name called like Manami. I don't know if you have heard of her, but it's like we're inspired by that. So first, I think like the most important problem is like, okay, this is English. How would the Japanese understand it? So we've looked at like the three most like dominant languages in like Japan. We have like English, Japanese, and Chinese. So and it's been like done by like our Japanese members, Chinese members, and of course English members. So okay, that's cool. That's so cute, by the way. How do we actually use it? So for the cashier, after you purchase something, for example, oh, he bought a reusable bag and didn't get a plastic bag. It's time anymore. You generate a verification code, and or just use a QR code, but because this laptop does not have a QR code, so we can just like enter the verification, and oh, it gains mana. Okay, what does mana do? Like, so we have like different gachas, like Nintendo Switch prizes, oh, American dog and drink rewards, and like coffee. Just depends on what like the user likes. So we can have a draw. But that's so dope. We created that. Do it again, do it again. Okay. Okay. So we see that you can get mana points, or like you might get like ground rewards like a Nintendo Switch. Okay, if it's like okay, then what's the mana for? So we can like redeem coupons, free food, and such. That's would like lead us to like having incentive to actually use the app and use less plastic. And also we've implemented a gear like system because people are tended to attach like to creatures, and this actually showcases like how the plastic you use actually damaged like the animals in the wild. So for example, this is day one of us using it, day two, day three, day four, day five, day six, you know?
Oh my God.
Okay. So this is like the partners that we are proposing to have. Okay, let's go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so how are we gonna actually make the companies actually collaborate with us? That might be like the first question you all have. So basically, every plastic bag that we don't use, the company actually earns money. That might be sound contradictory because like, oh, isn't like they charging me for plastic bags? But according to government law, like plastic bags, I only need the PowerPoint. Okay, so like each plastic bag that we don't use, that we use, although there's a price, but all the money earned from like the plastic bags sold are forced to be paid to the government or donated. So for example, 7-Eleven donates all of its earnings out. So basically, the 7-Elevens have to like pay for plastic bags, waste the time, and there's no benefit from it in terms of like a company perspective. So we were like thinking, how about let's save the money
Looks like you
and
could.
actually give it to like the customers, which would incentivize them to like use their recyclable bags instead of like using plastic bags. Like just if like like if you have like a plastic bag free system like the Japanese government currently has, there's no point. Like it do incentivize like people to use less because of the fee. But come on, like who like actually cares for like that 3-5 yen? But for the company, it actually spends more than 3 to 5 yen to actually sell a plastic bag to you. So it's like there's no benefit to you, there's no benefit to the company. So why don't we create a cashback system like that so that oh, for every plastic bag that I don't use, I can have
a benefit to and to obtain instead of like, oh, just wasting resources. So that is like the central goal of the app currently. And another question you might ask is like, will like the customers like the rewards? So that's like the reason that we generated like gotchas. Yep. Yay! You know, this is like, okay. So for example, that's like what you said is like first like according to ESG compliance, you have to like use specific plastic bags and like you have to like donate all of the earnings. So like you're just wasting a lot of money just for nothing. And of course, if like the Family Mart, you get a Family Mart coupon from the app, you have to use it in Family Mart, which increases like the customer loyalty of Family Mart. And moreover, the most important thing is that it enhances the brand image. Like imagine that like just advertising that you're like a really eco-friendly company while you're earning money, which like currently or you can, like 7-Eleven could say they're eco-friendly, but they are losing money just to do that. And why don't we let the customers earn money and also let the retailers earn the money?
Okay, so I'm gonna hold this very short because we don't have much time. But basically, this is our mascot. It's Mana, and basically, whenever you save like 10 plastic bags, it gets happier. Like the bags disappear, and then after like all of the things that you have like to deal with the flowers, and it's basically you have to sustain it. So that's basically a way to keep like the user of the app engaged, basically.
Okay, so like this, the first point is just what we've said that we are all earning money, and because like young people, if you have like noticed Japan, they always go to pochingo or like stuff like that. They have gamified habits. So if we turn these demerit habits to into like good habits that benefit yourself, we can actually also help these who have a gambling addiction to like put it into like ESG like habits. Okay, so in conclusion, like everyone wants like the environment to be better because it affects every one of you. So it's just like is the personal incentive better or like larger than like the cost like of like being environmental? Like a lot of people just don't know how like the plastic bags like hurt them or like how not using plastic bags benefit them. And they don't have to be told that plastic is a problem. They know that is a problem, but how actually, like how much actually is it a problem? So from this app, we can like visualize and actually give them like the reward of not using them. So they can see it on the shelf, on the receipt, and on the basket they actually carry home. So thank you.
Yeah, that are our sources for the research. Okay, Manami.
Okay, so basically, I don't know if you have, sort of, there are similar programs, but I'm sure you know about this place called Muji. Many of you have heard of it, it's very organic and stuff. And basically, they have a normal point card, and, there's point cards to every single, big stores that say chain stores, and Muji also has it. And basically, if you don't bring a bag, if you don't buy a bag, so you don't scan a plastic bag from them, you get a point. And I think this is pretty simple, and it's also easy for older people because it's easy and not confusing, and you think just like do it and not think about gotcha points and stuff. And I feel like all these features are very cool, but it might be confusing. So what do you think, makes you stand out from this simple Muji system with your product?
So basically, because our survey was mainly aimed at younger people, right now, like trending games tend to have gacha or pulling systems. So we thought it might be more appealing and like make them have more motivation to continue to recycle rather than just stop after a certain point.
And like because we're at first like the young people are like the main like majority that creates these type of trash. And so I think the target audience should be like the young audience. And second, because okay, if you to bring your own bag, you get free. Yeah, it's that's attractive. Okay, maybe it's attractive for some people, but for the majority, it's not attractive. So how do we solve it? By implementing a gacha system, we can make that, oh, there's like really good prizes, but the cost could be like what it was originally. And also we have a cross-platform like Family Mart and stuff. So it's not only gonna be like Muji and Muji and Muji. So I think this is the advantage of our platform.
Also, what I've realized from personal experience as well is after like if you don't have like a certain like thing that keeps you occupied within the app, like after some time you just stop or you forget. But if there's like a reward system and also like something that spikes your dopamine, it helps you keep engaged and like keep it up for longer. Because for me personally, if I don't like I try to do stuff like that sometimes, but then I just forget. But if I something that rewards me for it, it's easier to remember it as well.
Why don't conveniences use paper bags instead? What's the risk rate it faces the cost or the benefit?
So we asked some of the respondents if they would rather use paper bags, and we also researched online, but because Japan is really humid, paper bags wouldn't be as sturdy as plastic bags, and especially with the environment, it could cause more with how hot it is, it could cause more waste here.
And simply, there's a lot of items that you just can't use paper bags. For example, ice cream, like the water, which is like melt the paper bags, like or damage the paper bags. So for these, you actually need to like have a recycle bag prepared, and which this app's main goal is to incentivize them to bring it their own, so that first paper bags is already a waste, although not that much compared to plastics. And second, we can actually like do it for every item instead of, oh, I can only use paper bags for like merchandise, for like clothes.
Okay, yeah.
It was really interesting, and I personally like those kind of character impact games. So I think this would be really cool. But I was just wondering why you chose to partner with convenience stores and not, for instance, like bigger supermarkets, like like the Daiso, taco shop, dollar stores and stuff. They always use. I don't know. In my image, they use a lot of plastic bags.
Yeah, we think so too, but we realize like if you go to the supermarket, it's usually planned. Like you go there to get your groceries for the week. So you go there planned and it's easier to bring like your own bag with you. Like you bring your own bag with you, so you don't need the bag from the supermarket. Same with Daiso, for example. Like you go there with a purpose, right? But if you go to work, for example, or just commute and you like suddenly you need something, you feel thirsty, you feel hungry, you go to the convenience store and sometimes you don't have anything like on you. So that's kind of like to motivate them to like, even if they go to the convenience store, that they still don't, that they refuse to pay for like the plastic bags.
So one thing that I would like to add is that convenience stores is the biggest like use of plastic bags. So like compared to like supermarkets, and also like how she just said, it's like convenience stores are usually not planned, and with with like how reliant Japanese people are on convenience stores, I think for supermarkets we won't give up the supermarkets, but the first step should be like the convenience stores. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Also, thank you, Clover and Manavi.